Hello guys, sorry it's been quite a while. You know how school was. Speaking of school, this is my freshman year Art 1 sketchbook. So everything I've done throughout the whole Art 1 course is in this book. Now, not all of it's completed, not all of it's the greatest, I didn't even try on, like I said, a quarter of these assignments because that's just how this was. But because it's like 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, no, a full week, I don't know, since school ended, I figured I'd show you all what's gonna happen. Now, the sketchbook is something I got at Target because I wanted something cheap. It has a vinyl cover. It's like a sketch brand. It had a little tabby said sketch on it, but it's actually really good and holds mediums quite well. So I'm probably gonna use it as my primary sketchbook once I finish up my other ones because it's just that good. So this cover I did before the year started. It's just paint. What I did is I took like Elmer's glue and just wrote art and then painted over it and Mod Podge it. Obviously it's peeled up through the time. It just says my name in grade 9 on it. These are my old binder covers. I figured I'd keep them for keeping them sake, maybe use them for something else. First thing we did is just take some elements notes, review. This is my autobiography. The first assignment he gave us was to write an autobiography. He said we had to write our name, our full name, our current age, which at the time was 14, all our family members, and then start from our earliest childhood memory and go there. So I don't have a place where I've read all this online, but it's a full 1, 2, I'd say 3 3/4 pages of stuff. Great. And then we had to do our life map. This shakes a little too much. Oh well. So based on this, now I know I got the female signal wrong, but oh well. I was born in 2002. As a child, I was happy. I had the sparkle in my eye. Depression, that's my old character negativity, and how it sort of spread everywhere. This was my little brother being born. This was me somewhere in 8th grade, starting to really create again. This is me getting in North Point. Everybody sort of did the when you were born in North Point things, because those were all very important things. Let's see. That's page 3. Now, mind you, we were supposed to have a table of contents and all that jazz. Nah, I didn't do that. Next, we did the continuous line project. This, yeah, let me just move my water thing here. We divided up our paper in half. Now I cut this paper. I wish it didn't, so it doesn't look like it's in half, but it is. And, divide it up to 4 pieces in half, so 8 pieces. We scribbled a line, had to touch all 4 corners, and had to go in all the boxes, and each box had its own scheme, like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, this was primary colors, and we had to do the thing with the lines. This was cool, this was texture, this was, complementary. One of them we chose whatever. This was a combination of all of them. This is monochromatic and value, stuff like that to get us used to everything. Okay, move that. Sorry, I burped there. For our next 5, God, that shakes a lot. I'm sorry. I got nothing better. Now for our next 5 visual journals, we had to focus around these 5 shapes. The circle was to represent wholeness, the square was to represent security, triangle was hopes and dreams, the cross was crossroads, the swirl was time. And we had to number them based on mostly support to me. So my most important thing to me is security, second would be time, third would be hopes and dreams, fourth would be wholeness, and 5 would be crossroads. So this was the first thing I made. Now I have a speed paint on this. He told us the journal on tracing paper, put it in, and we had to include all the things. And the background's watercolor. I used my friend's watercolor pencils at school. I collaged, I had gold, I liked keeping this pink and blue cotton candy sort of theme with it, and I wanted to keep it like that, and it's very shiny. The whole thing's like coated in Mod Podge, and I still really like how it came out. This, shape to form, basic value techniques, value chart on the back, nothing special. Oops, there's a rise book in there. Second one, also a speed paint. This was so rushed. I did it the night before. I'm not proud of it. I'd redo it if I could. There's this cute little pocket for my composition notes and practice. So like, subject matter content. These were our 4 practices, and this one I would use in a collage piece later. But you know, we had to practice perspective and all that. That was fun, I guess. It was around this time I really started learning that this class isn't going to be that fun. This was hopes and dreams, so of course I represent. This was in a sketchbook talk, and into these had my hopes. These had my dreams. You know, I had these 2 little pockets. I kept with this purpley blue theme. It was really pretty, and I liked it. Art criticism worksheet, nothing special. Remember that composition thing, perspective practice, roam your beard into the collage style we were told to do. So, this is like a perfume thing for Ralph. This, you know, if we had 3 figures, we had to change them. I put a lot more effort than I'm willing to admit to make sure they looked somewhat normal. Tornado in the background, thread for the fences. I think it still looks cool. This was our 4th one, so this was on wholeness, and we had to write about our personality. So, like, my name's Sloan, it means fighter warrior in Celtic. My defining traits: intelligent, creative, realistic, socially awkward. This was another rushed run, but I did think it turned out kind of cool. I did little mosh posh X's in the background. Now this is a story y'all know, because it's Negativity Holds Me. I read it out loud, and I showed you the process for the piece. This is all taped up because it was falling apart, so I had to go through and do that. I'm proud of this. This took a freaking long time. This is all done digitally. Yes, I know it's not. It's very stylized. My teacher said to remind him of Tim Burton. The background is just from magazines around the house, at school. Purple, blue, because they had symbolism, and I still really, really like it. Now, for a 5th one, this one was a doozy. I know it has paper on it, but it says, "I'm at a crossroads, look at my thought process." And you'd open up, and it'd say, "Can you solve my problem?" The whole idea was this piece was, I know you can't fit it all, is to try and decipher what the heck I meant. So, like, this was a bunch of anxious scribbling of, am I running out of time? Some worried-filled thoughts. The point of it was for you to try to decipher my journaling, decipher the clues, and figure out my problem, which was, I'm trying to remember since this was the beginning of the year, it was sort of how I dealt with time and my anxiety. And I still really love how this turned out. I think the background is just beautiful. And we have tape transfers at the bottom. It's beautiful. I love it. Next was hand practices. Take our own hand, sketch it. Blind contours, look at our hand, close our eyes, try to sketch it. As you can tell, it does nothing of good use. We had to make a character. This is where I introduced intelligence. My OC, I split my mind into like different parts of me. This was intelligence, which is my logic, my mental processing. Negativity holds me, that was negativity. That's all my bad emotions, etc. These are skillograms, you know, look at the piece, draw. They're boring. And then the art history stuff. We basically had to take our character and move him around and demonstrate what we learned. So at the first it was kind of fun because I needed to get used to drawing characters again anyway. So I had to, you know, try and figure out how to pose intelligence. And it was prehistoric. This is the Egyptian era. And, you know, I loved playing with paper. This is now Pablo Picasso and Igor Stravinsky. This son of... we had fun with this dude. We were given a piece of paper. We were given this upside down. We had to draw it. And you can't see the whole thing. And that's fine. Because you know what? We do this like 2 more times. And I hated every bit of it. Because it was boring. But it did improve. It did help us improve. And the enlarged hand is just the hands, but larger. And now we get into quarter 2. Now, cold hands. We had to draw our hands a bunch of times. And I had a story. This spells out cold hands. These are 2 extra hands. I was going to outline this in blue, but I didn't get to it. The story behind this was it was this, I have very cold hands. And so when we had to do this assignment, I decided to do cold hands because my hands are very cold because I don't eat. And during the school year, I haven't not eaten enough, not eaten nutritiously. And so my hands get really, really cold. And I'm just generally a very cold person. But if I eat well, my hands are warm. I'm unusually warm. And my friends who are used to me touching them are like, what's happened? So this was supposed to sort of show that. And plus, I like the glittery background. So yeah, eat properly, kiddos, and you won't become an ice monster. Roman time period. Had fun playing with texture and paint in the background. Like I said, more paper-themed stuff. Wizards and bird cages. We had to write about a dream we had. So I had this very interesting dream where I was trapped in a freaking bird cage because some wizard dude, androgynous character, really liked me for some reason. Thought, ah, yes, that's how you impress a person. And this is the mock-up. This, like, area, this is actually the bus stop outside my house because that's where I was. You know, digitally, I created the wizard character, me in the bird cage going, what's going on? This is the police sirens because, you know, they were like, why is this person trapping a child? That was a fun dream. Now keep that in mind because it comes up again later. Byzantine time. This is actually index card and thread, you know, texture, you know, simple stuff. Color notes. I love color theory. I just have a bunch of them. You know, color schemes, monochrome, and in the back there's this color chart. The board didn't want to draw intelligence as a whole character for Romanus. I just zoomed in on their arc. And now in the background there's a constellation into Libra, because I'm a Libra. And yeah. The whole thing with intelligence is how many eyes are open shows like how much they're processing. This is, I was very lazy. I didn't want to draw the Gothic era because all the stained glass, so I printed out pictures, had intelligence, just sleep. Yeah, oops, sorry, I'm moving all around. Now, those wizards and birdcage, we had to make a surrealist drawing. This took forever, but I'm really proud of it. I'm sorry, I'm dying. Yeah, the bird cage was glowing. I'm very proud of it. I would work in the library on it, and the kids would be very impressed by it. So I glued it in here, and I really loved it. And I sealed it in because I was not going to let that thing be ruined. Renaissance, kind of, I did this at home, and I just wanted flower aesthetics, so I just drew intelligence on the flower field. This I did at lunchtime. I was rushed, you know, romanticism. Christmas card copy. We had to take he had a pile of Christmas cards, so we had to take it and copy it. There was words on mine too, but he said not to bother, so I copied colors pretty well. I'm good at color theory, so did that. That was fun. These are some art principle notes. This was another very rushed thing. I didn't even do a full composition. You can tell. I think I did this in class. Impressionism. This was our name design project. I'm sorry that moves so much. We had to take the letters of our name, and we had of our first and last name, and we had to do it 3 times. Like, well, because I had E twice, it'd be 6 times. You know, stuff like that. So I tried to position the main letters like S, L, O, A gets flipped here, and then E gets flipped here. Because, you know, it's in my name. So it's all around, you know, different schemes like complementary, intermediate colors, monochromatic, you know, warm on a dark background, cool background, value, or there's some weird about this one. This one was value, monochromatic. We had to flip this one and reflect it, and I think this was free choice. That was fun. I like that one. Drawing the eye. Now, we were given, I'm sorry, to draw 10 eyes. And I was told we were draw 10 eyes at home. So underneath this is my 10 eyes of extra practice, and I made these a lot more expressive. And I like how these turned out. Turns out that wasn't the case. We were supposed to copy this worksheet he posted online, which was boring. And I know for a fact another class didn't do that, so I'm salty. Now this is when we started having free choice. Now, I have a progress GIF on Tumblr about this. And on January 13th, my date mate did their first tarot reading because they have gotten into witchcraft and Wiccan and all that's good jazz. And they're like, hey, let me do one on you. And I'm like, all right, do a basic past, present, future. And this journaling here explains it was the most accurate thing. And I didn't want to leave it up to coincidence because it was just so accurate. So taking that inspiration and wanting that witchy goth aesthetic, I just made that, and that's what, and that day, from that day on, I really got convinced in the witchcraft. So I love the ribbons in the background. I love all of this. It was really fun. Nose practice. Enough said. My throat. More nose practice. More mouth practice. Drawing mouth. This is when we started doing art analysis. He took off 10 points or 5 points because there wasn't a picture, even though I didn't know we were supposed to do that. I don't know why he thought an art 1 class should be doing this detailed of analysis, but I do it, I print it, I tape and paste it in here. So what it was is, I'm sorry, I'm catching my breath. I can't stop talking. I'm dying. Let me get a drink of water. I'm so sorry. Alright. There was 2 parts. We did the analysis on a piece, and then, if I can flip the page, we did a piece based on the style of that piece. This was rushed and done during lunch, hence why it's all messy. Ear practice. That was another free choice. That was my witch Sona. Never got around to finishing it. This is another analysis, and this is my witch thing of it. I love this. Portrait map. We were going to do a portrait based on sort of Margaret Humphrey's portrait, so that autobiography I had at the beginning here, that comes into use, and this is me planning everything. It was around at this point. This is when I had just gotten new art supplies, so I wanted to play with them. This is like modeling paste. It was all swirly, but it got smushed. And this was to say, remember, you should always keep learning, because people tend to think once you're an adult, you stop learning, and that's not the case. Another analysis. I did that during lunch, and it's really rushed. This was vent art, like due a day late. Is this Igor Stravinsky again? Yeah, it's that dude again. This took forever. I love it. Yes, my pasty white self is painted in black. We were all required to do that. And this was an assignment was given by my dark-skinned teacher. I'm not questioning it, but I do love how it turned out. I think it's really cool. I love my rainbow glasses. I love my color, my hair, I have my necklace, and that's my autobiography, all written really close. And you had to take like over 10. I did like 20 symbols. So like 14 was done in complimentary, non-binary flag, girl, party, no sleep, pin, depressive spiral, cried, thought, money, death, health, world, paint, girl, boy. Is that a heart? I can't tell. Wi-Fi, so I think the internet, YouTube, questioning, fun stuff. I really like how this turned out. This one was really fun. This was my first political piece, so there's the analysis. And this was a very simple piece. And in the background, right here, it says, like, life, liberty, justice, a better life, but in the red, it says things like, not for everyone, some exclusions may apply, read the fine print. And the background's journaling about how America is supposed to be this great fine place, but it's not. It's not that place. It doesn't sound like that place. It's not acting like this place. Stuff like that. So this was my first really political piece. And I still really like it. Had to draw 25 objects. It was at this point I was starting to give up. I didn't draw all 25. I drew over half of them. You flip up. You see all of them. So I got 154 out of 250 points. This was one. Why won't you listen? This is for a lot of things. But it's mainly when adults think they can just, not listen to kids because we don't know any better. Or when people just don't listen to you even though you know what you're talking about. And I also wanted to play with texture in the background. Yeah, here's where I gave up and I stopped doing analysis. This was the first wall in our classroom. Turned out pretty good. My choice, I didn't do. A visual journal design, I didn't do. Another analysis, I didn't do. I didn't get that wall back. My choice, another analysis I didn't do. Another wall I didn't actually finish. My choice. Had Igor Sarintian. You don't need to see that. What is this? Stuff. Hold on. Oh, this is our art prints. We had to draw an animal. I didn't, but we did it on a piece of sandpaper with crayon, and then we would print, and then he would just take it and iron it. So this is the first, oh, here, let me move it over. This is the first print. This is the second print. This is the third print. Poor kitty's disfigured in the last one. It's really cool. It has a nice texture. And it's just crayon on sandpaper. You put it in between like magazine pages and you iron it really good. And it creates a nice texture. My choice. That's the end of it. I'm going to use the rest of these pages and rip them out and scratch them. Fun fact about this. In the back, because it's this spiral bound vinyls, the covers kept coming off. So I went through one day over Christmas break and just individually threaded, basically sewn it all together. That was fun. That's my big, thick visual journal for the year. Yeah, I wish I did more art on my own. I wish I did more art, but this teacher, not the best, just tired me out. I do have a visual sway, a digital portfolio he made us do. Obviously mine is incompleted, even though I got the full points. I will link that. I will link down the speed paints that included this in the description, and I'll see y'all next week. I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye.